Peace, peace, peace. Greetings, everyone. Let me turn my volume up. Greetings, beloved. So I'm super excited about our live today. Greetings, greetings, peace as y'all are coming in. We're going to have Dr. Aris. He is a raw food scientist guru, all of the amazing dynamics. As soon as he comes in, we will actually go live with him. Peace, beloveds. Peace, everyone that's coming in. Hey, y'all. If you have questions, you see the little question box in the bottom. Just in case I don't see your question pop up in the comment section, make sure that you hit the button, the little question mark button for me, so I can actually see what questions you have. I have my own line of questions that I want to ask and make sure that we kind of touch bases on. But when he does chime in, I do want to make sure that we are all being respectful and mindful of his particular time, so I can get all the questions in that we need to ask. So does everyone see the question box at the bottom? Because I know sometimes on some screens they're not on there, and sometimes you can't see it, and then sometimes it's there. So do you see the question box? Let me know. Let me know. Peace, Catherine. Peace, beloved. Wealth and success. I'm so excited to see all my little She Is Magic tribe on here. Hey, boo. Hey, boo. Yes, everybody sees the question mark box. Okay, cool. So if you have some specific questions that you would like for me to ask, make sure that you click Ray says no and Tashawn. So maybe it's the phone devices. So what type of phone do you have, Ray? What type of phone do you have? Trying to make sure. Look, I'm special. I'll be like, am I on the healing chamber? Ray didn't say. If you don't see the question mark box, I do see somebody asking. Okay, so yeah. Peace, beloved. Okay, and then you have an iPhone, LG. So maybe it's the LG that doesn't see the question mark box. Both of y'all who said you didn't see it are the ones that have the LG. Good. Y'all are good. Yay. Great. Great, great, great. Ashe. You love my my snakes. Never end the story snakes. I got lapis in there. It's my favorite piece. One of my favorite pieces. Thank you, beloved. All right, so everybody can see the question box. The ones that can't, just go ahead and put it in the comment section, and I'll try to do my best to actually pull that up when it's time to ask questions. So today we're going to, like I said, have Dr. Aris. I wanted to bring him on here so he could break down the science, but with eating healthy and doing what it is that we need to do. A lot of times, you know, moving into this particular part of our journey and striving to, you know, get to a better space, navigate this space better from a higher understanding, higher consciousness. One of the main things that we do is change our diet. And as we're changing our diet, sometimes there are a lot of obstacles that come in the way. So I wanted to make sure that, and if you've been following me on the Healing Chamber for a minute, that I always talk about the things that we need to do in order to cleanse the body, detox the body. How can we eat better? How can we do better from how we're thinking, how we're moving and navigating every system? If you missed our live last night, I did have Asia on here from Free Your Mind to Shine. I actually posted her page on there so y'all can actually see the page, and posted her information that she would need in order for her to be able to pull your free blueprint and to do your consultation. So make sure that y'all check out our live. It should be on IGTV. Okay, so it should be on my IGTV information. I also, if you're following me on YouTube from the She Is Magic Tribe, I always repost any live or videos that I do on there as well. All right. So all of that is always on there. Thank you, boo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I see a few questions. Somebody said, hello, what's the solution to get rid of chronic allergies? Ooh. Love from India. Oh, peace, beloved. You want me to get into some predictions? Let's talk about this new moon. Okay, we'll get into the new moon while we're waiting on him. So the new moon is in what? Virgo. So that Virgo energy is about paying attention to the details of our life. What things do we need to actually get into to actually make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing in this next particular season? So we are in the new moon energy. It started at 7 a.m. this morning. This is a great day for you to set your intentions. This is a great day for you to get into the space of being very intentional about what can I change in my routine? What do I need to add from a diet perspective? So this was a great day for us to talk about diet. What do I need to do as far as my business goals, my personal goals? Who do I need to clean out of my circle? Who's still toxic that I'm still holding on to? All of these different dynamics are going to come into play. So when we're doing these intentions, what you really want to be specific about is reevaluating what's in my life. What do I need to shift? What do I need to change? So I've been calling it the get your shit together moon. So this is the time frame where you really need to reevaluate, do some self-reflection, and figure out what needs to change. What do I need to add? What do I need to shift? Okay. And then make those notes, and you can burn it. You can bury it. You can do a lot of different things. That's a She Is Magic topic. That's a She Is Magic topic. Okay. So, thank you, beloved. Sending you love and light back. Okay, late. I have been feeling irritable, and I think that's what it means. I really don't know why. The irritability can be coming from the Mars in retrograde. Okay, so there's a Mars in retrograde, and then if I'm not mistaken, and I think Asia is on here. She was talking about there's an area of confusion, like we're in a state of confusion right now as a collective. So those two dynamics is a recipe for disaster. Those two dynamics will create a certain type of energetic field around you where, yeah, you're going to be triggered by certain conversations that you would never be triggered by. Yeah, you're going to be into confrontations with family and friends. Okay, that you probably wouldn't have gotten that confrontation maybe a month ago. All right. And then once again, I did repost today on both pages. Y'all realize we're in retrograde in pretty much every planet except for 3. Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot of like, oh, the universe got their foot on our neck and they're going to make us do the work that we need to do in order to become our best selves. I have been saying for at least the last 3 years, like each year has been a major push for us to do that internal work. I specifically said at the end of last year, coming into 2020, if you have not built up your toolbox, this year was going to be real interesting for you. So you should have appreciated this quarantine. This was definitely a time for you to really pull it together, look at the dynamics that was going on. What do I need to clear up? What classes do I need to take? What self-healing do I need to do? This was a great year for you to get into that work. Okay? This was a great year. So the thing about being triggered or irritable or feeling like you're a mess, as my boo says, you have to pay attention. If you already know Mars is in retrograde, like I like to say, this is a great time for you to go on a silent fast. I should have been paying that more attention myself. Look, I was triggered myself. So look, I can raise my hand with y'all. I was one of those people that I was like, God, dog, I'm just like, everybody aggravate me. I just need to sit outside permanently. Yeah, that was me. So being in a space that you're paying attention to what needs to happen, how do I need to move? How can I facilitate the dynamics that's going on? Okay. Like this is really, really, I promise y'all, if you paying attention to the cosmos, and now we got a whole nother dynamic. If you get into the human design and how she's getting ready to break it down, okay? how she's really getting ready to break down how you can pay attention to who you are, how you should be moving, and the information that comes from that space. This is helping you navigate better. So now, instead of you just being triggered or walking around aimless in the dark, now you got a heads up, and knowing is half the battle. Knowing is half the battle. The other part is applying the information. Don't get in these workshops. Don't read these books. Don't get these readings. Don't do all of this extra stuff if you're not going to apply the information. That's a waste of time and energy. You might as well keep running in the same race or the same maze that you've been doing. All right. This is definitely a time I want you to pay attention to the different dynamics. Give me a second, y'all. I want to make sure I put that on real quick. Yes, they said most people should keep their mouth shut when triggered for a couple of months. This is a great time to do silent fasts. Yeah. When Mercury go in retrograde, you definitely need to just shut the hell up. Like, don't talk too much. Be very mindful. My favorite thing is to resolve. Okay. This is a great time for you to resolve. Not be in a space where you're responding or reacting. You don't want to respond and you don't want to react, because a lot of times it's coming from the wrong place. All right. You want to make sure that you're resolving. You're looking at the situation and you're figuring out, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to move. All right. Definitely apply. Quit reading all these damn books. Y'all be reading the most books. And don't apply. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You be excited about having these libraries full of information, but you're not applying the information. And this is not, when we have amazing elders and people that are here to guide and show us the way, apply the information. Like, really apply it to your life. Don't just sit there and regurgitate or be able to regurgitate a bunch of information. Okay. What books do I prefer? Ooh, I got a lot of books I prefer. It depends on what I'm studying right now, and I don't have it down here with me. Right now, I'm actually reading The Melanin Empath. I can't remember who it's by, but I love that particular book. So I'm into a lot of things that's dealing with energy, consciousness, how to help people shift their state of consciousness, their mental, okay, what it is they're thinking. So that's what I'm into right now. If you would have asked me that question maybe a month ago, it was juicing. While I was trying to get all the information together for the Goddess Awakening class, the Juice Bible was real big in our house. 100, I think it's like 101 juices or something like that. It's something crazy. So a lot of juicing books and raw books or natural books was in the dynamic. Crown Chico, you said, where's the baby? My baby is upstairs with my friend. Yeah, being watched, and he is amazing. He is growing super fast. He's already leapfrog crawling. He's already leapfrog crawling. All right, so I see he has joined us. So whenever you are ready, you can just request to video with us, Dr. Aris, and we will start with our live, beloved. Yeah, he is leapfrog crawling. He's pulling up on stuff. He is snatching my plants because he's in the walker now. So he's going around like grabbing plants, anything that he can grab. He done broke a teapot the other day because no one seemed to see him actually get, I think I can request you. No one see him actually get to the actual table to pull my whole teapot off, which is crazy. Everybody got their look. Everybody's talking. I got they got you got your notebook. All right. Let's see if we can. I know it's raining on my end. Hopefully we can connect without no problem. Peace, everyone. I don't know if it's connecting. Um, Dr. Aris, is it connecting on your side? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't see my image.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yes, it's on my side. It's showing still connecting. Gotta love the internet. You want to try to disconnect and maybe come back?
Okay.
Okay, let's try that. All right, so we're gonna try it again. We're gonna see that if he disconnect and come back, will it work for us that way? Yeah, maybe a restart. Gotta love the internet. No, I gotta stay connected. Okay, so let's try this again. See if that works.
Okay. No, not yet.
Yeah, still scrolling.
Yes.
I know they can hear you because they all are chiming
I'm
in. Thank you.
I'm gonna reboot on my end here and see what
Okay.
happens.
Okay. All right. So of course we will be having some internet dynamics going on. So he's gonna try to reboot and let's see if he can come back in. Thank you, Art. Thank you. I know my hair. I just cut it and it's growing too fast. I'm about to get it cut again. I'm thinking about dyeing it like silver gray. I promise. I am thinking about doing it. Okay, so as he's getting that together, I asked everybody to, if you have a question, put it in the question mark box. Okay, put it in the question mark box, and then we'll make sure we get to it if we don't see it in the comments. All right. Asia, can you make sure they're not on the internet upstairs just in case it's on my end? I think it's on his, but you got the silver gray. Yeah, I'm thinking about because I'm already going gray, y'all. I'm already going gray, so I might as well. I'm gonna keep it short. Okay, you said that's your goal, but it's definitely my goal. I've pretty much gotten all the way to a certain level. I still have my moments, and then after watching the video last night, he was breaking down some information, and I was like, "Oh gosh." Okay, let's try this again, y'all. All right, let's see if that works. Yeah, I can still hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it.
Okay. Well, can everyone still hear you on your end? Because I know you can see your comments. I can see a few people.
I hear you. I don't know. Do you hear me? Do they hear me at
I
all?
hear you good. Can y'all all hear both of us? Because if you can hear us, that would be great. Thank you. Okay. They're saying they can't see you, but they can hear you.
Oh wow. It's okay.
Okay, so we're gonna still go here. I was telling everybody briefly about you, and I really appreciate your time and your energy for doing this with us. Can you just get into who you are? How did you come into this lifestyle, and what made you do your actual company, your business?
Wow. Okay.
I know that's a
Well,
lot. That's a loaded.
yeah, that's a lot. I could talk about that all hour long. But I was born in Panama, and this was 1947. My grandparents went there to build the canal, the Panama Canal. They migrated from Jamaica and Barbados. My
Oh,
parents were born there as well. And I left there at the age of 17, migrated to New York, Bed-Stuy, inner city, and did my education there in the U.S., high school, and uh, ended up with a bachelor's degree in Spanish and education. Was a
yeah.
language arts teacher for a few years, teaching primarily Spanish and also English as a second language in New York and New Jersey. Then did graduate work in California, Cal State
Oh, wow.
University, Fullerton. Studied with the renowned Dr. Ernie Smith, Sweet Ernie, my master linguistic professor, where we focused on Ebonics and bilingual education, bilingualism. I was the curriculum writer, bilingual curriculum writer for the San Bernardino Unified School District and San Francisco Unified School District. We're talking in the 70s. And, I'm just chopping this thing up, And,
Right.
yeah, then I ended up uh, in Tanzania, in the Kilimanjaro, living amongst the Maasai people there at the foot of the Kilimanjaro. And from there, ended back up in New York, 1979, Harlem. And that's when we started Sunfired Foods in Harlem. Basically a plant food company, and just specializing in all living foods, which we call sun-fired foods, which basically means the food is cooked by the sun, and we just don't cook the
Mm-hmm.
sun out of the food. Uh, so many people today will call it raw food, but I don't subscribe to that because it is cooked food. It is perfectly cooked by the sun,
Sure.
a very meticulous process that could take, a good year just to cook some tomatoes in our field, in our
Wow.
garden, yard. That is a very, very exacting science, and it's quite insulting to put it in other terms, especially using the word raw. So we call it ra, R-A,
Wow.
food, sun-fired,
Nice.
sun-fired, sun food. So you know how we are. We definitely are very emphatical when we believe in something, so we named it sun twice, sun-fired and ra. So
Yeah.
and anyway, so moving on from there, I pretty much crisscrossed the entire U.S. For a good 5 years, just dishing out sun-fired foods to people at all of the major national health expos and many cultural events around the U.S. the African Festival in Chicago, in New York, Atlanta, all over the place. And I
Right.
left the U.S. in 2000. I moved from the U.S. I renounced my residency because I never became a citizen there. I was just whatever they call it, with the green card. But I gave it up, handed it back, signed it back over, and with the intention of not living in the U.S. again anymore during the duration of this. So I've visited several times since then, and now
Okay.
I'm in the Cayman Islands, in the Grand Cayman. So been here, doing the COVID vacation, and just keeping up with my life, swimming, running, biking, just
Right.
really living, just living, and sending out, big love and prayers to all of our families around the world who's been impacted by this, situation, and also definitely, the historical, yokes that we've been living under. And
Right.
basically, the revolution continues, because this is how I got into this type of life. And to me, it's not a style, it's a life, and it's a continuation from the seeds that were planted by my grandparents, my parents, growing up in a jungle, living in the rainforest in Panama at a tender age, and just, only having to relate to fresh food because we could not shop high on the aisle. My grandfather was paid in silver coins. And, John
Right.
McCain, who was born close to where I was born, his people were paid in gold coins. So we could not shop in the commissary because we could not go through the door that required gold. It didn't say
Mhm.
white. It said gold and silver. That's what the two doors said back there in my neighborhood. So we basically just had to fish for ourselves, which means,
Right.
fresh fish out of the lake, out of the sea, our own chicken coop, our own backyard garden, going to the
That's
local
when it was the best.
so forth and so on. And so anyway, I've grown to the point where, I've been acclaimed by the Oxford Encyclopedia of Food and Drink as the father of ethical gourmet raw food cuisine. And I've trained
Right.
thousands of chefs over the years, and continue blazing the fire, defending my Black life, from not trying to stab myself in the gut with a fork full of chitlings and all these other kind of stuff. Just really stepping up and protecting, defending my life through my palate, and sharing that with others as well.
And we appreciate you. I was just saying before you came on that, we have to take advantage of this information. I do feel like people like you, people like Dr. Africa, and so many others who have walked this path, they came to give us this information and to guide us, to help us navigate this part of our journey better. But it's wasteless if we're not applying the information. A lot of times we're, taking the workshops and getting this information from you and not applying it to our lives. And I think, I really thank you for always sharing and educating us.
You're
Um,
welcome.
you talked about preparing food, and that was one of my questions. So, what are things that people would need in order to actually live this way? Like, what would we need to prepare? Like, what, I guess, equipment, and what's the process, if you can kind of break that down?
Okay, the first thing you need is definitely, a mental commitment. That's the first thing. You need to commit to self. You need to commit to defending and protecting your life, and drawing a line between the do's and the
Mm,
don'ts. The foods that are definitely no-nos.
right.
And the top of that list definitely is processed animal foods. You know, the
Right.
bologna, the salami, the you know, corned beef hash, and you know, I mean, a lot of this stuff we don't deal with anymore today, but still, there are new people coming up and don't realize some of these things. So that's the first thing. Of course, giving up all animal flesh completely. We don't need to eat animals at all. You know,
Right.
that is our relationship with these beings on this planet. Is you know, and besides that, then we have to look at our cooking practices. You know,
Mm.
the whole barbecuing and deep frying and grilling,
Mhm.
these way, you know, outrageous ways of just torching life, you know, food, you know,
Right.
plants, vegetables, or even animals, if that's what you've been doing, and then trying to derive life from these things. You know, how can you get life from death? How can you enhance your life through the killing process? So right there,
Right.
just having that commitment and not crossing that line for yourself, because you see the consequence. We have to pay a heavy burden of being sick. It is
Mhm.
totally unnecessary to be sick. Being sick is not part of living at all.
Mhm.
You know, at 72, you know, I have no medical ailments whatsoever. No glasses,
Right.
no big gut, no prostate issues, no inflammation, no diabetes and arthritis, none of those things, no pre-Alzheimer's or anything like that. Totally full
Right.
capacity, you know, and this is all as a result of me not challenging my life, not trying to process foodless foods, things that are not food, just because we have the power to grab a potato and bake it. That does not make potatoes food. Roots are not food
Right.
for consumption. You know, and those of you who have been so steeped into the scripture, you know, go back and revisit, thou shalt not kill, but not only that alone, but the fact that, you know, your food should come from a seed yielding source, and unto you it shall be thy meat. Okay, so
Right.
let's go back to the roots. Let's go back to the foundation. But in terms of on the immediate side, definitely eating out is not healthy. Eating out, so yes, you
Yeah.
need to prepare your foods. You need to defend your life in your kitchen. Your kitchen is your lab. Okay, it's your
Mhm.
sanctuary in terms of the protection of life, your human right to live a glorious life. It begins in your kitchen, and it goes right on through to your your what we would call your lavatory. So from the laboratory to the lavatory, from the kitchen to the restroom, where you relieve the things from your
Right.
body that does not need to be there in your life, that you don't need that type of relationship. You use them, and their waste just keep on moving. But to be storing waste for 30, 40, 50 years, overweight, you know,
Mm.
40, 50, 100 pounds, constantly lugging that around every day. That's a heavy burden to carry. Okay, so yes, it's going to wear on your heart, it's going to wear on your entire life, and you
Mm.
basically can compromise your existence. So in the kitchen, directly, there are four major pillars to this type of cuisine. Number one,
Right.
get rid of the stove. Get rid of it's a death trap, not only for
Okay.
you, but bugs as well. You know, they love that environment, especially if you live in a cold climate. That's where they hang out, you know. But it is totally unnecessary to cook. As I mentioned before, our food is perfectly cooked by the sun. If you have
Mm.
to actually take something and put it on the stove, put it in a microwave or whatever you're using to make it
Mhm.
edible, then it was not intended for you to eat at all. So thanks to modern technology, we can take certain foods and put them through, modern processes that make the nutritional value more accessible to us without using the outdated cooking process. We are in the 21st century. We have blender, so you don't have to boil something to tenderize it. You could put it in a blender and just tenderize it by just blending it down. So whatever it is, a cauliflower, you want to eat a cauliflower and it's too coarse, it's too hard, it produces gas trying to eat it raw, so you cook it. No, you can just put that cauliflower in your blender, put a little water in there, blend it down, and hey, season it, do whatever even your pumpkin is a fruit, the same process. Carrots, you could process pumpkin the same way in a food processor. So number one in appliance is, of the 4 pillars is your blender. A blender the blender is the basic. You don't need anything else, and you could live. You don't need a stove. You just have a blender. You can make food on some kind of level. So, and I know everyone have a blender, even if it's just one of those little 10.
You got one.
Yeah, you got a blender. So let's get it to use, so you can actually make juice using your blender. You could take your apple and put it in the blender and just blend it. Just put small pieces at a time to begin with. Even if you have to put a little water in there just to get started, get a liquid base going, then you just add the other pieces in there and blend it. Then you take that blended apple sauce in a press bag, in a juice cloth, in even a cheesecloth if you have to. Napkin. Just buy a brand new stocking, use a knee high, and put that blended applesauce in there and squeeze it out, press it out by hand, and you have apple juice. So number one is your food processor. Your food processor. So food processor is going to allow you to make magic. The blender constantly have to rely on a liquid source. So a food processor, just consider it more of a non-liquid blender. That's basically. So have an S blade in there so you can grind things down. You can chop things down. That same cauliflower we spoke about, you could put it in your food processor with the S blade, and just chop it, mince it down. There's a shredder blade and a slicer blade that comes with the food processor. You could take your pumpkin, peel it, de-seed it, put it through the shredder blade and shred it like how you would grate a carrot or any other hard vegetable. Shred it, and you can use this in a salad just like that. You can take nuts and seeds, and of course we want to use nuts and seeds that were not roasted. Pumpkin seed, almonds, walnuts, pecans, cashews, and so forth and so on. But all of these need to be pre-soaked for 12 hours before consuming them to remove the enzyme inhibitors so that your body can digest them effectively. So they should never be, and they should be pre-soaked for 12 hours before using them. So you could pre-soak cashews, raw cashews, put it in your food processor with a little lemon juice, your herb spices in there, and maybe a little touch of water, and you could blend it down into a creamy mayonnaise style consistency.
Oh, nice.
You can do wonders with these 2 machines. And then next step, the third pillar would be a juicer, a juice extractor. So you can just go ahead, make your juices. You should be drinking fresh juices every day. Fruit juices in the morning, vegetable juices in the afternoon. So between 6 a.m. and 12 noon, you want to have your fruit juices. This is what I'm having right now. I'm having pineapple, orange, grapefruit, and lemon.
That sounds good.
My morning juice this morning here. Ah, nice.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
And in the afternoon, I'll do a vegetable juice. You know, carrot, celery, cucumber, kale, and you know that's it. I usually only use like 4 or 5 ingredients. Run that through my juice extractor, and the pulp that remains from that, I'll put that in my press bag. You know, and press it out. So you want to get you want to wring it out real tight. And basically what you're doing, you're extracting the water from the vegetables, you know, and this is what we call juice, but it's water. The bottom line, it's water, but it's water with high minerals, high vitamins, water with energy, with life that your body does not have to work to process. So imagine you have a bowl with, you know, 4 different vegetables, a big bunch of kale, a large cucumber, a large carrot, and 4 stalks of celery. Imagine trying to eat that. You know, it would really, that's a big job. But now put that through the extractor.
Right.
And with you know, maybe 4 glasses, 4 cups of juice. Now you drink that, you bypass the whole work. Your body does not have to work to digest, to process, and extract that juice, that water with that high life minerals and vitamins in it. So your juice extractor is very key. Then good there. But if you really want to go to the other
next level.
Yeah, the next level, then you want to get yourself a dehydrator. A food dehydrator. So with the dehydrator, now you're going to get crunch. You're going to get different texture that you're not going to be getting with these other machines, because most of this food is soft, it's moist, you know, it's wet and juicy. So you want now to be able to get the snap, crackle, and pop. You know, you can make your biscuits, you can make your bread, cakes, crackers, all of these things. Pizza crust, you name it, you know. So that's where your dehydrator comes in. So this is where you can start using your grains, you know, your quinoa and millet and amaranth and these finer grains that don't have gluten in them. And you could process them and make, you know, infinite delights, even cookies. Pie crust, you name it, you know.
I was on your page the other day and I was like, oh, it's a whole nother level to this. Like, you was showing pizza, you had like some sort of dessert that had all this fruit on top of it, and I was like, oh, we got to get us a dehydrator. Certain stuff that I was just like, we sleeping on some of these meals.
Yeah, so those are the 4 pillars. Then there's a few other little gadgets and things like that you know, I mean, you know, when we're preparing foods and when we're eating food, you know, on the surface it's about entertainment. It's about presentation. It's about culture. It's about gathering. So we want to, you know, make it elegant. Make it look, you know, nice. You know, masterpiece, art pieces, because you are what you eat. So who wants to eat a sloppy Joe? You know, who wants to identify with slut? You know, come on, who wants to eat slut? You know, let's eat elegance. You know, fine dining, fine cuisine. Otherwise, just, you know, go to the peach tree and just, you know, eat off the tree directly. You know. Nutrition there. But when we're dining, we're gathering, we're communing, that there's an element of art and culture and entertainment, you know, in that process. So we have to step it up. You know, we need to bring our food up to higher heights of grace, not just praying on it, but really meditating with it, you know, through its elaboration and presentation, you know, because it's a family affair. You know, and we definitely should be eating together, eating at home, you know, or eating communally, you know, as much as possible, sharing with each other, amongst each other, rather than going out to fast food, convenience types of places. I mean, there are fine places in our communities where there are wonderful, healthy eating restaurants, that we can go and really, enjoy, a super special moment. But on an everyday basis, we got to get in. We got to get in the kitchen. We got to defend our,
Absolutely. I had someone ask the question. So when you talked about there's the pulp that's left, they said, isn't the pulp still good to eat, I guess, or use?
The pulp. Well, no, you see, the thing is, this is why we're employing a press bag. You want to squeeze every single drop out after you juice, or even after you just blend the produce. You want to squeeze every drop of liquid out. So all you have left in there is just fiber, dry pulp. It should be as dry looking as sawdust. So it's good for the compost. But otherwise, and if you're eating this way, if you're eating predominantly fresh plant foods that have not been cooked, you have no issue with fiber at all. You're getting plenty of fiber in apples, apple skin, the apple core, you name it, oranges, lettuce, tomatoes. There's plenty of fiber in these foods, and then you're not eating foods now that are fiberless, white flour. So you don't have to eat trash to get fiber, okay? You don't have to eat juice trash to get fiber. Because it is so lifeless, it is so tasteless. By the time you finish wringing it out, for you to really get some excitement with it, you have to dress it up, which means you have to add things to create, some gusto. So here comes the oil and the this and the salt and the heavy spices and seasoning, trying to make something out of trash. Just go ahead. You already got the value out of it. Your body wants the liquid and the gas. That's where the nutrients are that are transported in your system. And this all has to go through the bloodstream. Why put trash in your body to create another level of work? And many of us do this not because we really even are looking for, the nutrients that's left in there. A lot of us, because we think we are so economically disadvantaged that we just don't want to just throw a little bit of something away, because we spent so much money for all these vegetables, all these fruits, and we want to try to get use out of every part of it. But the real value, what you're eating for the oxygen, you're eating for the water, for the moisture, you're eating for the macronutrients, the proteins, the minerals, the vitamins, and along with your liquids as well, and the micronutrients, the fine, subtle stuff, the colors, the pigmentations in the food, that aroma you smell going up in smoke when you say, oh, Granny's pot smells good. That's nutrients you smell going up in the ether. That's what you're eating for, things that you really look for. You're not looking for the bulk. Bulking up is definitely anti-health. Live light, slim, trim, be ready to fly like an eagle, and not just be out here, just barely strutting along, trying to get along, out of wind, out of breath, because you're on overload with all of this excess bulk on your body. You may be able to sculpture it and have these fine cuisines with foreign parts and six-packs and biceps and triceps and all of these things, but by the time you pack those components so tight into those tissues, they become crystallized. So you don't have the flexibility and the pliability of your body anymore. You're like, I don't know, some of them call it being a zombie these days, or whatever. I mean, we're just like, so we're talking arthritis and many other things are consequent to that type of lifestyle. Heart, issue, respiratory challenges, even cancer, strokes, and all that, from living some of these modern, obscene way of trying to style and flash.
you know, but are unhealthy and rotten on the inside. So let's wake up, let's step up, and let's be a reflection, mind, body, and soul of the greatness of who we are. And definitely controlling that body, that little animal that we live in, that beast. Our body is an animal. It's a flesh. It's pretty much dumb. It takes its guidance, you know, from us, you know, from the soul. And, you know, then our mind is supposed to be basically the you know, the one who really keeps the body in check. But those two run away, and the mind and the body start colluding against you. And here they go, sneezing and coughing and farting and carrying on, and you trying to meditate and live a peaceful life. And you can't do that in a body that is so disturbed and full of disease, you know, and garbage. So let's wake up and let's snap out of it and awaken the sleeping giant from within. Detox and don't retox.
And you just, that was my last question, the detox. What is the best way that, you know, people who are coming out of a certain lifestyle or just wanting to switch completely over, what is the best way for us to detox? Like, what would you suggest for people to do? Ah, we got a picture finally.
Yeah. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, we're back in. We can see you. Well, we can see the room you in.
Phone call came in and it interrupted our system, and somehow or the other triggered the camera to come back. So perfect.
Oh, wow.
But not really, because I didn't hear the last few words you said.
I was asking about detoxing. What is the best way that people are asking? What's the best way for us to detox?
Okay, number one, you know, like I always say, don't retox. Stop putting garbage in. That begins the detox right there. Stop putting toxins in, and immediately the detox is on its way. So once you stop retoxing, it's gonna register. You're gonna get that headache. That headache is a sign of detox. Okay, it means that your body has now reached a pause in digestion. So it's no longer digesting, and since the body could not digest and eliminate simultaneously, what is happening? What are you seeing the picture of me?
Yeah, we was gonna say flip. No, that's what we was gonna say. Flip your camera. Right. Everybody said flip your camera.
Let me see, how do I flip the camera here? There it is. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah. So number one, you stop putting in garbage in your body, so the body cannot digest and eliminate simultaneously. So the more we digest, the less we're going to eliminate. So we need to put a pause on digestion. So that's what happens when you skip a meal. You know, you normally have your lunch at 12 noon. It's 1 o'clock. You have your lunch in an hour, and you got a splitting headache. The body detox. So you keep using the digestive process to keep the elimination process in check. So you say it's a headache, so I am hungry. So what you're doing, that blood that is laden with the toxins that were released from the tissues that came back upstream and circulating in your brain where the blood moves the slowest. Now, that toxin lingering on the brain, it is termed a headache. It's termed a headache. So what you're looking to do is to move that blood off the brain and transport it somewhere else to relieve this headache. And the quickest draw is to reach for the next big load, a plate of food, and that brings the blood to the digestive system, shifts it from the brain, and you postpone that elimination confrontation one more time. And you feel better, the headache is gone, the garbage went back down into the tissues, found another resting place for a temporary moment, but then you got to keep on eating constantly. You got to keep that digestion. So detoxing is to shut the digestive system down. Scientific. Now we go into what we call waste management. Once you shut the digestive system down, and basically, you know, the S hits the fan, you know, and that's smacking around we get that we call headache, and we call nauseousness and dizziness. You want to vomit and all of that stuff. It's the S, the fan, coming back out of the tissues and coming back upstream and smacking you around, and you lost control. So you run and you go reach for the doctor's number or whatever. I got a pain, doc. I feel this. I got that, and I get, oh, come on in. You know, oh, I don't know what caused it, but I can give you a temporary relief so you can feel better and go back and put more of the garbage back in.
Right.
That's what. So anyway,
working backwards.
Now, which means no eating of solid foods. Okay, just like you do at night when you go to sleep. That is what you're doing. You're going in a detox every night for 8 hours. You call it sleeping, you call it resting. You're actually going into the body shop. You're pulling into the body shop when you go to bed at night for eight hours, because the body now is doing its repair work. It's breaking down dead cells and replacing them, rebuilding new cells. But when you wake up in the morning, you have what is called now your break fast. Period. It's not a breakfast. It's not a breakfast. It's a break fast, because during those 8 hours at night, you have been fasting. So now you want to break your fast in the morning. And the break fast is not a meal. It is not a bowl of cereal, you know, with some greasy vegan sausage or whatever the heck that you want to call these faking, you know, plant-based cardboard food that they sharing with us. So that is not how you break a fast. That is totally unscientific. You are fasting at night, a true classical fast where you hold fast, nothing went past your lip because you were sleeping. And you know, that fast is involuntary. You don't have a choice. You have to sleep every night. You could be speeding on the highway and it's time to go into the body shop. You fall asleep on the steering wheel. So thank goodness for that safety valve, because otherwise most of us would be eating 24 hours a day if we didn't have that escape valve working that we cannot mess with, we cannot tamper with. We gotta sleep. And you miss a night's sleep and you see what happened. You go out first and you crash the next day or 2 or 3 days later. You know, you can't catch up. You can't catch up on old work. So you got to do that. So what we're saying now, in the morning when you break that fast, is totally unscientific to break it with the traditional breakfast, grits and cornbread and baked pizza and pancake and waffles and chicken and all of these things. No, you don't break a fast like that. Fasting, that the stomach shrinks. The stomach to a rudimentary state, and the size of your stomach is the size of your clenched fist. This is the normal size of your empty stomach, the exact size of your personal fist. But for many of us, it doesn't even get there. We keep it wide open and stuffed constantly. And that big stuff you see hanging in front of you, that big waistline, that is not stomach. That's a fat pouch that the stomach is resting on, because it is so overloaded, overbearing, that you have to create a bag for it. You know, but still, this is how life works. But we don't want to bore you with all of these technical stuff. But the deal is, now what we're asking you to do for your detox, the next level of detox. So you master that one. You master sleep detox. Okay. The next level of detox is, you know, what we call an extended fast. An extended fast. You know, today some people call it intermittent fasting, but it's not intermittent fasting. You already were fasting at night when you were sleeping. You want to extend those 8 hours of fasting. You want to extend 8 hours of fasting and just go to 12 hours. So the next level is what we call the daylight diet. So only eat during sunlight from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So the natural time to be sleeping is actually 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. The natural time to be sleeping within 2 hours after sunset, 8 p.m., and you are supposed to awaken at 4 a.m., 2 hours before sunrise. And I mean, if you live anywhere in Backbush, Alabama, and where there's no lights, backup country, when the sun goes down, we and everybody else go down to sleep. 8 p.m. and 4 a.m., the roosters, the birds, they are chirping and wake us up. They just know the sun is coming. So you want to extend that period, and you want to go from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. without consuming nothing at all. Okay. That's just one baby step along the way. That's a huge step for a lot of us.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, forget the eating before 6 a.m. Most of us are not even up by then anyway. But still, let's contain that right there. And then, then you could take it to another level, and you could go 16 hours of extending that fast now. So you could start eating between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. So this is a gradual fast extension. So you only have an 8-hour window for your day now, between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. You're going to see the body now is going to start regulating itself, because you really want to put the body back on its own engines, on its own machinery. The body is self-working. We have been disturbing it and corrupting it and interfering with its flow. Because now you only have 8-hour window to eat. I mean, there's only so much you can eat in 8 hours now. you know? And cut out that breakfast meal. There's no such thing as a breakfast meal. That is not a meal at all.
Okay, so what should they eat when they wake up? Okay, so when we get into this window.
When you wake up in the morning from 4 a.m. to 12 noon, that's the second phase of your day. The first phase is when you're sleeping for 8 hours, 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Of course, many of us are living on collision course with Mother Nature, so it may be unrealistic for us to follow this time clock, but this is the idea. This is what we want to strive for, and work with, or otherwise just adjust your situation to deal with your personal reality. So from 4 a.m. to 12 noon, this is the break fast phase.
Right.
The sleeping phase is the fasting mode. It's the rebuilding, reconstructing, reparation mode. So the break fast phase for 8 hours is the elimination phase. So in the morning, 4 a.m. to 12 noon, as the sun rises and you rise with the sun, the way the sun burns the clouds out of the sky, it burns the mucus out of your body. So you want to eliminate, you want to focus on elimination. And heavy breakfast cereals. What a wicked thing these food cartels have done to create this new meal, this modern meal they call a breakfast, and it's all centered around cereals, around starch, inexpensive foods that have a huge profit. So to get you to just eat starch and grease for breakfast as your primary, and then put a continental on there, put a grapefruit or a piece of cantaloupe or something on it, so it make you feel a little, there's a little glass of orange. But it's elimination time. So you have to eat foods that are going to facilitate elimination in the morning. So the first thing you want to do is take an internal shower in the morning. As soon as you arise, an internal shower. So that internal shower, you're talking some inner body soap, like mint, aloe vera, lemon juice, ginger, cinnamon, with some water to flush it out. So your shower water, your inner shower water, and your internal body soap, that's the first, because you now want to get into the system. That's the way you take your external shower. You want to take that internal shower. You want to now get into your system, your digestive system. The digestive system, the human digestive system, is not part of our body at all. It's within our body, but it's a tunnel through the body. It's a passageway through the body where you dump stuff into that channel, into that tunnel, and it's processed in there, and then the nutrients leaps the wall, your mucus lining, and goes into the bloodstream, get absorbed and gets carried to all the cells of the body and nurture it, and then it brings back the toxins, and then that stuff is what you urinate, you defecate, and you pass out. So you gotta tunnel out in the morning. Many of us are our inner shower, coffee, muddy water, dirty water. External shower, you don't take an external shower with dirty, rusted looking water. You open up that shower head and you see some stuff come out of there. You don't want to take a shower. So why are you drinking coffee in the morning talking about you taking an inner shower? No, that is, you want clear, crystal water. Ideally, if you're living where human beings originated, which is in the tropics, then no question mark, you got coconuts. Living fresh, high electrolytes is going to get into the body and it's going to clean it out. It's going to electrify it. So you don't have coconut water, then watermelon is your next best high electrolytic foods. So take a watermelon shower. That red, nice watermelon juice in the morning. Have some lemon juice with that. Lemon juice with watermelon, that's an inner shower. You know, many of us may do the lemon water, we may do the cup of tea, you know, and the this and the that. But let's come back to the reality of life and work with our nature. And our nature, our commitment, our relationship with the universe is through the plant kingdom. We cannot bypass the plant kingdom. The watermelon vine is a spring. It's spring water in a watermelon. The watermelon vine is a hose coming out of the earth that's pumping water out of the earth and packing it in these big, lovely 30-pound or 50-pound watermelons. So these little baby sugar, what is it? Sugar baby watermelons. This is spring water. Watermelon juice is, look, for goodness sake, you're speaking the Queen's language. When you use the word watermelon, what the heck do you think you're having in there? It's water. You know these people and their language, they try to be so exact and correct. Watermelon, water crepe, you know, water apple. You're drinking water. So it's the same thing. When you're drinking orange juice, you're drinking orange water. You're drinking cucumber juice, you're drinking cucumber water. Cucumber is a sugarless watermelon. You need fresh spring water without sugar, just buy you a box of cucumber and juice them. You're getting fresh spring water, but not just only a shot like what you get in buying these bottled water. Now, look, that's a whole nother cartel that has really ripped off your human rights. And you got to buy water, you buying these processed bottled water, because all bottled water are processed. You know, stagnant water grows moss or it gets stink. So any water in a bottle that's stagnant, it's been treated in some way, form, or the other. And look at the big, the water cartel. You know, Pepsi and Coca-Cola and Nestle and all of them. They've hijacked the water. So you got to buy water. But anyway, buy watermelon. Okay? Buy watermelon.
It's a watermelon.
Watermelon Man. You remember that song? You know? Yeah, and we're famous for that. It's in our nature. We are watermelon loving people. We know real water. This is what we grew up with. This is what was handed down to us through our ancestry. You know, and we are, you could picture me with a big watermelon smiling in my face. Of course. Yeah, I'll live up to that any day rather than a big bottle of somebody's processed, devitalized, blank water. You know, so anyway, again, you know, I'm a revolutionary. So, continue. So I did not do this to save the animals, to save the planet, to, you know, for spirituality or any of those things. I got into this to save my black head. Okay,
I'm listening.
that's it's about my human rights, and that's why I eat
Yes.
this food, because I'm defending and protecting my life. You know, just as
Mm-hmm.
we do from others trying. But anyway, so that's your extended fast,
Okay.
16 hours. You're just eating for in an 8-hour window, and then you could even narrow it down a little tighter than that. You know, but let's just pass that and let's take the leap and let's do once a week fasting.
Nice.
Once a week,
Okay.
you want to shut down the digestive system for 36 hours. Once a
Okay.
week. Make this a religion for you. Once a
Mm-hmm.
week. I mean, and it's part of the foundation of many religions, you know, where you observe the
It really
Sabbath
is.
or day or whatever, and you fast once a week. But most of them, they're dealing with a spiritual fast. We are really emphasizing a therapeutic fast. So
Right.
it's not a 24-hour fast from sunset Friday to sunset Saturday, because breaking a fast at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, is totally unscientific. You break your fast at the break fast hour. Breaking your fast at the time when the body should be shutting down at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Saturday, then you trigger
Right.
the body to overeat. So here comes the fish fry around the corner from the church and all of these other stuff, and we eat more than we need to eat, you know. But their spiritual fast, you know, bless their soul, doing a big thing, and they're accomplishing their spiritual task, but therapeutically break that fast Sunday morning.
Sunday
Break
morning.
it,
Okay.
because you already got the advantage. Sleeping
Right.
Saturday night, sleeping Friday night, you already got 16 hours as a pro
Out the
that you've been
way.
fighting for a whole time. So why short circuit it just to have a meal at 6 o'clock, and then you're supposed to be going back on your fast when you go to sleep? You're sleeping disturbed and everything, trying to digest that meal after having an empty stomach all day long. So anyway, 36-hour fast once a week. It could be any day of the week that you choose, the most low stress day that you have for the week. So you begin your fast at sunset the day before or after your last meal the day before, and you break it with your first meal the day after the fast. And when we're
Right.
talking this type of fast now, we're not talking the classical fast that you do when you're sleeping, you know, which
Right.
is, you know, no liquids, no nothing.
No, nothing.
Doing this once a week fast now, we recommend that you're just basically shutting the digestive system down. That's all you're doing. So
Okay.
in order to not activate the digestive system, you don't want any solid food.
Right.
So you're going to drink 1 gallon of juice for that
Okay.
36-hour period, that 1 day a week. Filtered, pressed juice, no pulp in it, no smoothie, no milkshake, no thick shake, or nothing like that. Just filtered juice, apple juice, watermelon, cucumber,
Right.
celery, you name it. Fruit and vegetable juice. And if you're living someplace where you can get coconut water, please, let's make sure that's part of your fast as well. So I would
Nice.
recommend ideal fast is a quart of fruit juice in the morning and 1 quart of coconut water. And we're talking fresh coconut water, not the ones you buy in cans and
Not
bottles and
that
bottles.
for the box.
You want it from the whole nut, from the breast of the earth, okay? And if coconuts don't grow where you live, then I don't see how you can grow there either. So you need to move to where coconut grows.
They moving.
Well, there's a place in Florida called Coconut Grove, you know, and there's coconuts all along the Florida coastline. You can find coconuts as far north as probably Savannah, Georgia, you know, Jekyll
Mm.
Island, places up in there. But you can bring coconuts in. You know, they're around, especially in an urban area. Just go to your to look in your business to business yellow.
International stores. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, find your wholesale terminal market and buy them by the case. So anyway, quart of coconut water, quart of fruit juice in the morning, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then 6 a.m. to 12 noon. And then in the afternoon from 12 noon to 6 p.m., vegetable juice. Quart of vegetable juice, quart of coconut water. So if you don't have these coconut water, then, you know, extra watermelon juice in the morning. In the afternoon, extra cucumber juice. A quart of cucumber juice in the morning. A quart of watermelon juice in the morning with a quart of other fruit juice in the morning. In the afternoon, quart of cucumber juice, and a quart of vegetable juice in the afternoon.
Okay.
And you're good. But for those of you who are hooked on your water, I'm not taking your water away. I'm just telling you, you're just taking blank shots, and it's best to put other things in the body, other water that are going to give you more than hydration, that will give you more than the blank shot. You're going to get minerals, you're going to get vitamins, and you're going to get oxygen. Oxygen. Oxygen is our #1 food. And bottled water has no oxygen. Well, some of you have a fall, you have a spring somewhere you can go capture the water. That's all well and good. And some of you, you know, you're living in so high, dense urban areas that you got to take toilet water and put it through an alkaline machine and alkalinize it. That's what you're doing when you open the tap. You're trying to refresh old recycled water and removing the acid from it. I mean, that's a big job. It's more reasonable to move to where coconut grows, or at least, you know, have a watermelon patch somewhere, you know, or buy more water. Get a stake in a watermelon farm, you know, and pre-buy your lot for the year, you know, that kind of stuff. Instead of spending a couple of $1,000s on some machine to clean up wastewater.
Right.
So, but if that's the only option you have, more power to you. Please, by all means, go ahead, do it. Because every step you make, the body is going to crave and beg and corner you to take another leap higher. Because the body keeps rejecting the most objectionable thing that's on your plate. You know. So once you clean out from certain really vulgar food, you're going to see the next step, you're going to start losing the desire to other things that you thought you used to like, because now the body's going after those now. It's like got rid of the old stuff, now it's going after some other stuff. You might get to a point where it's like you don't have any desire for onion and garlic anymore, because your system is so clean out. And onion and garlic, those are antiseptics, those are deodorizers. And once your system get all freshened up and nice and clean, onion and garlic is like very irritating to your system. There's no more garlic for them to scrape out. So you're like, I don't really care for onion anymore. I don't like these things anymore. Naturally, allow your body to be. Let it be, and it knows to it. It's totally self-healing. So after that once a week, so anyway, just looking at your daily cycle. So you have that small fasting at night, 8 hours, the break fast period, 8 hours from 4 a.m. to 12 noon, then from 12 noon to 8 p.m. This is your intake mode. This is when you're going to put in your building materials. So in the mornings, you just focus on fruits, fruit juices, and, you know, whole fruits in the morning. You got 8 hours, 4 a.m. to 12 noon, within that period. In the afternoon, from 12 noon to 8 p.m., now you want to focus on putting in building materials in the body, building blocks. That's your rich, heavy, dense food. So you have proteins and you have starches, or the starches are complex carbohydrates, and we know what those are. Those are your beans, your grains, and your roots. The deeper the root, more carbohydrate it is, more starch it contains. The larger the bean, more starch they contain. The larger the grain, more starch they contain, or glue. So that's a very curious group there. You have to be careful with that group. And you see the nutritional name is complex. Whoa, complex carbohydrate. Now that's complicated. Just the word in itself is complicated. Imagine what connoted in the food themselves. They're complicated. Rice and beans and potatoes. These are very extremely complicated food. They're complex carbohydrates, and they have to be converted into simple carbohydrates. They have to be converted into sugar in order for the body to utilize them. So every slice of bread that you eat, it needs to be turned into sugar for you to, otherwise you don't convert it into sugar through your digestion.